You know that feeling when you're lying awake at night, replaying a conversation in your head, wondering how you ended up being the one apologizing when they hurt you? Or when someone tells you that your kindness is your weakness, and you suddenly start questioning whether the best parts of who you are actually make you a target? What if I told you that everything you're proud of, your empathy, your loyalty, your patience, your ability to see the good in people, could be systematically weaponized by someone who knows exactly how to use them against you? And the most disturbing part? You won't even see it happening until you're so emotionally drained that you don't recognize yourself anymore. Make sure to subscribe to the channel because here you'll discover powerful psychological truths that can change your life. Truths that will help you understand the hidden patterns that have been playing out in your relationships, and more importantly, help you reclaim your power. Here's something that most people don't understand about narcissistic manipulation. The narcissist isn't interested in your weaknesses. Your insecurities, your fears, your shortcomings, those are boring to them. What they're truly after are your strengths, your kindness, your empathy, your unwavering loyalty, your ability to be patient and forgiving. These are the qualities that make you valuable. These are the things that draw good people towards you. And they are the exact same things that make you incredibly vulnerable to someone who sees you as a resource to be extracted, not a person to be loved. Think about it for a moment. A narcissist needs someone who cares deeply, someone who will keep trying, someone who won't give up on them no matter how badly they behave, someone whose goodness is so profound that they'll absorb blame, take responsibility, and keep coming back for more. That's not a weakness they're targeting. That's a superpower they're hijacking. If you've ever felt like being a good person somehow backfired on you, if you've ever wondered why your greatest strengths left you feeling broken and empty, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the insights that could change everything. Now, let me walk you through how this actually happens. And I want you to really feel into this because chances are you're going to recognize yourself in one of these patterns. The first way narcissists exploit your best qualities is by taking your kindness and transforming it into your prison. When you're a kind person, you're naturally inclined to give people the benefit of the doubt. You assume good intentions. You want to help. You see someone hurting, and your instinct is to comfort them, to support them, to be there. This is beautiful. This is who you are. But here's where the manipulation begins. A narcissist will present themselves as broken, vulnerable, needing your help. They'll show you their pain, real or fabricated, and your kind heart responds exactly how they knew it would. You start giving and giving and giving some more. But here's the psychological trap. With every act of kindness you offer, the narcissist doesn't feel grateful. They feel entitled. Your generosity becomes their baseline expectation. And when you eventually can't give anymore because you're human and you have limits, you're the one who feels guilty. Your kindness, which should have been a gift freely given, transforms into an obligation. You start sacrificing your own needs, your own sleep, your own mental health, all in the name of being a good person. And the narcissist watches this happen with complete satisfaction because they've successfully turned your greatest strength into a mechanism of self-destruction. You stop sleeping because they need to vent at midnight. You stop eating well because you're too anxious about their problems. You stop investing in your own dreams because their needs have become your life's work. And the cruelest part? The more you sacrifice, the less they appreciate you, because appreciation would mean they see you as an equal, as someone worthy of respect. But they don't. They see you as a tool that's proving itself more and more useful. The second way this happens is through your empathy. Now, empathy is a profoundly beautiful human quality. It means you can feel what others feel. You can read a room. You can sense when someone is hurting even when they're trying to hide it. This ability to understand others on a deep level is what makes you the kind of person others trust. People open up to you. They feel safe around you. But a narcissist? They study this about you. They notice that you can't stand to see someone in pain. They learn that if they cry, you'll soften. If they act desperate, you'll move mountains to help them. And so they manipulate your empathy by making themselves the victim. When they hurt you, they don't own it. Instead, they flip the script and make you feel like you're the one hurting them. They tell you that your boundaries are cruel, your reasonable requests are selfish, Your attempts to protect your own mental health are proof that you don't really love them. And here's where your empathy becomes your downfall. You feel their pain so acutely that you start doubting yourself. Maybe they're right. Maybe you are being cruel. Your empathy, which should allow you to help others while maintaining healthy boundaries, gets twisted. You start excusing behavior that's completely unacceptable. They yelled at you, but you rationalize it because you know they had a bad day. They lied to you, but you excuse it because they came from a traumatic background. They hurt you repeatedly, but you forgive endlessly because you can feel how much pain they're in. The psychological mechanism at work here is called cognitive dissonance. You can't reconcile the image of yourself as an empathetic, caring person with the reality that staying in this relationship is causing you harm. So instead of protecting yourself, you twist your empathy into justification. You become an excuse machine. And every excuse you make, every time you choose their pain over your own peace, you reinforce the narcissist's belief that they can do whatever they want, and you'll find a way to forgive them. The third way your best qualities are turned against you involves your patience. Patience is an underrated superpower. It means you don't give up on people. You're willing to give second chances, third chances, 10th chances. You believe in growth. You believe in transformation. You're willing to wait for someone to change, to improve, to become better. In healthy relationships, this is beautiful. In relationships with narcissists, it's a death sentence. Because here's what you don't understand about narcissists. They don't change. Not really. Not the way you're hoping they will. And they're counting on your patience to give them endless opportunities to hurt you without consequences. You're waiting for the moment they finally understand, the moment they finally choose you, the moment they finally become the person you know they could be. That moment never comes, but it keeps you trapped. Your patience becomes your cage. You tell yourself just one more chance, just one more conversation, just one more attempt to make them understand. And they know this about you. They know you're patient, so they make tiny, insignificant changes. They're nice for 3 days, and you think maybe this is the breakthrough, but then they revert, and your patience kicks in again. This is the pattern, and it's exhausting. Psychologically, what happens is something called intermittent reinforcement. You're being rewarded occasionally with periods of kindness followed by periods of cruelty. This creates an incredibly strong psychological bond, stronger than consistent kindness would. It's the same mechanism used in slot machines and in trauma bonding. You keep coming back because occasionally, just occasionally, they give you a glimpse of who you hoped they would be. Your patience becomes the fuel that keeps this cycle burning. The fourth hidden way narcissists destroy you is by weaponizing your loyalty. Loyalty is one of the most beautiful human traits. It means you're faithful, you're committed, you stand by people even when it's difficult. You don't abandon ship at the first sign of trouble. You're someone who's worth knowing because you're genuinely loyal. But in the hands of a narcissist, your loyalty becomes your greatest vulnerability. Because once they know that you'll stay, that you've decided you're in this for the long haul, they stop trying. They stop managing your perception. They show you who they really are. And by then, you've already made loyalty your identity in this relationship. You've told yourself the story that leaving would be weak, leaving would be giving up, leaving would be breaking a promise. So you stay. You stay through betrayal. You stay through disrespect. You stay through emotional abuse. You stay through infidelity. You stay through being treated like you don't matter. And the narcissist knows you'll stay because that's what loyal people do. Your loyalty, which should be a gift freely given to someone who honors it, becomes a prison where you're serving a life sentence. The psychological damage here is profound because loyalty also intersects with your sense of self-worth. You start to believe that leaving would prove them right, that you are indeed weak or selfish or unable to handle challenges. You've twisted your loyalty into proof of your virtue, and they've twisted it into proof of your weakness. The beautiful quality of loyalty has been transformed into the thing that keeps you accepting unacceptable behavior. And the fifth way is perhaps the most insidious of all. It's through your self-reflection. Now, self-reflection is actually a sign of emotional intelligence. It means you're willing to examine yourself honestly. You can admit when you're wrong. You take responsibility. You want to grow and improve. This quality is what makes people respect you. It's what makes you trustworthy. But a narcissist looks at this quality and sees an opportunity. They realize you'll turn the blame inward. If they hurt you, you'll examine what you did to deserve it. If they say something cruel, you'll think about how you could have communicated differently. If they cheat or lie or betray your trust, you'll find a way to blame yourself. Your self-reflection becomes your self-destruction. The narcissist doesn't even need to gaslight you that much because you're doing it to yourself. They'll say something mean, and instead of being angry at them, you start analyzing what you did wrong. This is called internalizing blame, and it's incredibly psychologically damaging. You're essentially doing the narcissist's work for them. You're the one convincing yourself that you're the problem. Over time, this constant self-blame erodes your ability to trust your own reality. You become confused about what's true. You question whether you're overreacting, whether you're being too sensitive, whether you're the reason this relationship is dysfunctional. And the narcissist feeds this confusion by constantly subtly reinforcing your doubt. They'll say things like, "I don't know why you're so upset," or "You're always overreacting." And because you're reflective and self-aware, you start believing them. Your greatest strength, your ability to examine yourself honestly, has been weaponized to convince you that you're the problem. If you want to understand these patterns and protect your energy, if you want to stop questioning whether you're losing your mind, subscribe to the channel right now, because the clarity you're looking for is waiting for you. Now, here's what I need you to understand about what's happening here. These aren't quick, obvious attacks. These are slow, systematic erosions of your sense of self. It happens gradually. It happens so subtly that you don't notice the changes until you look back and realize you're not even the same person anymore. The confident, kind, empathetic person you were has been replaced by someone who's anxious, guilty, confused, and self-blaming. You feel responsible for things that were never your responsibility. You feel guilty for having boundaries. You feel wrong for your own emotions. You second-guess your own reality constantly. And here's the thing that makes this so psychologically damaging. You're not this way because you're weak. You're this way because you're strong. You're this way because your strengths make you such a perfect target for someone who wants to exploit them. The narcissist didn't create these traits in you. They found them. They recognized them. And they strategically learned how to use them as leverage against you. Your kindness, your empathy, your patience, your loyalty, your self-reflection, these are not flaws that led you into this situation. These are superpowers that got hijacked. But here's where the story changes. And this is the part I need you to really hear. These qualities are still yours. They haven't disappeared. They've just been twisted and distorted and turned inward in ways that hurt you. And once you recognize what's happening, once you understand the psychological manipulation at work, you have the power to reclaim them. Your kindness doesn't need to mean self-neglect. You can be kind and still have boundaries. You can be kind and still protect your energy. You can be kind and still say no. Your empathy doesn't need to mean excusing cruelty. You can understand someone's pain and still refuse to accept their harmful behavior. You can feel their feelings and still prioritize your own well-being. Your patience doesn't need to be infinite. You can believe in growth and still recognize when someone isn't changing and when it's time to walk away. Your loyalty doesn't need to be to someone who disrespects it. You can be loyal to people who honor that loyalty. And most importantly, you can be loyal to yourself. Your self-reflection doesn't need to be self-blame. You can examine yourself honestly while also recognizing manipulation when you see it. You can take responsibility for your actions without taking responsibility for theirs. The shift happens when you stop seeing your strengths as weaknesses and start using them consciously and carefully. When you realize that protecting yourself isn't selfish. When you understand that boundaries aren't cruel. When you recognize that walking away from someone who doesn't honor your loyalty is actually the most self-aware decision you can make. This is where your real power emerges, not in becoming a different person, but in becoming yourself again. The version of you that has kindness, but also strength, empathy, but also boundaries, patience, but also self-respect, loyalty, but also self-preservation, self-reflection, but also clarity. The moment you recognize these patterns, everything changes. You start seeing situations differently. You start feeling differently. You start making different choices. And those choices, made with full awareness and clarity, are what actually set you free. Because your best qualities didn't destroy you. How you were allowing them to be used against you is what was destroying you. And the moment you take back control of those qualities, the moment you decide that they're going to serve you and your well-being instead of being weaponized by someone else, you become unstoppable. This is the journey, this is the reclamation. And this is why awareness is everything, because you can't change what you don't see. You can't protect yourself from what you don't recognize. But once you see it, once you understand the pattern, you have the power to break free. If you want clarity, self-respect, and emotional freedom in your life, subscribe to the channel right now. And please, share this video with someone who needs to hear this, because somewhere out there, someone is lying awake at night, replaying conversations, wondering if they're going crazy. Someone is blaming themselves for someone else's cruelty. Someone is sacrificing their own well-being in the name of loyalty. And they need to know what you now know. They need to understand that their best qualities are not their weaknesses. They need to recognize the pattern so they can break free. You deserve a life where your kindness is cherished, your empathy is honored, your patience is rewarded, your loyalty is reciprocated, and your self-reflection leads to growth, not guilt. Subscribe now. Your clarity starts here.